Don't bite off more than you can chew is the theme. Happy Sunday. It's a nice autumn Sunday. I have been absent lately. Couple of conferences, COVID, and life. But there is something that has come up that prompted me to return to um, yapping. So, a investor client of mine talked to me about assisting his son out in the Midwest to buy an apartment complex. Now, his son has never been a landlord, and in asking him about, the details, it sounded like he was thinking about helping his son buy a 8 or 10 or 20 unit apartment complex, which is a spectacular leap from never even being a landlord to being a mogul and being a superintendent and really making it your full-time job. So he asked me to speak with his son and kind of get his take on it. And interestingly enough, the devil's in the details, right? His son told me that he's thinking about buying a 3 or 4 family property, living in it, and having the mortgage subsidized with the rental income from the other units. That made plenty of sense because plenty of people do that. Plenty of people have their very first real estate purchase has been a multifamily house that they lived in. That is biting off a lot less for a newbie than becoming a superintendent owner of an apartment complex. So interestingly, you can walk into a bank and ask to borrow money to buy stock or buy lots of things, and they'll say no. But if you ask them to buy something that's sitting on a pile of dirt, that is real estate, they'll loan it to you. And for that particular scenario that his son drew for me, he could just get a regular FHA mortgage, just a regular garden variety, regular guy mortgage. He didn't have to come up with 20 or 30% down. He wouldn't have to go to a commercial lender and be subject to all the vagaries of the commercial market. He could get 30-year fixed residential mortgage. And that put a different light on it. And that particular scenario would actually be a wise thing. Now, when I went back to my investor client, he said, but the apartment complex would make more money, wouldn't it? It would be a better financial opportunity. Well, yeah, I mean, you could start a hedge fund and make more money. You could start an insurance company or a bank and start more money. But just because you start one doesn't mean it's going to go well. The same thing goes for the potential, in theory, of buying an apartment complex if your best skill in life is, being a chef or, fixing someone's tax return, right? So bite off what you can chew. Now, if he bought this 4-family home and decided that it worked out and he'd like to diversify and expand, he hasn't used an incredible amount of capital. He's got a better asset base. He has more equity. And yeah, we can explore expanding his real estate holdings, right? But if he bought the 4-family home or 3-family home and decided, well, this is the worst. I hate being a landlord. Well, thank God he didn't have that complex, right? Because you can put a 3 or 4-family house on the market and just about anybody who qualifies for a mortgage could buy it. But an apartment complex has a far smaller audience and is a little bit harder to sell when you do not have regular residential financing available. And most people out there who are thinking about buying a rental unit, a rental investment property, aren't really going to go past 3 or 4 units. So either way, when you come to that fork in the road, it works out, you can do more. It doesn't work out, you have a reasonable exit strategy. That is biting off what you can chew, and that's the wise play. So to those investors out there, don't dive in head first and overcommit without teasing out what your many options are and the best and worst case scenario. So that's the takeaway. All of you real estate investors out there and all of you prospective real estate investors out there, always better to start small, always better to start with what you can handle. And if it works out, you keep your options open. If it doesn't work out, you've got an exit strategy.